You're now listening to the Irreplaceables podcast featuring Brody Paul and Charlie Young. Enjoy. Welcome back to Irreplaceables podcast. This is episode number 5 featuring Jordan Green, who is a former Bushies teammate of ours. It's good to have you on the podcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
How's life been over in America lately?
You know, it is what it is. I try not to complain.
Yeah.
But
how's basketball been? Yeah, what's been happening in that term?
Just working out. Getting ready. I got a couple showcases coming up to try to go get back overseas. I was telling Brody about it. So just working out for that. And that's basically it, really.
When's that?
I got one coming up this month, the 20th, 21st. Then I got a couple in August. One will take me August into September. It's like a tour.
Yeah.
So you've been playing basketball from a very young age. How's it been growing up? Sort of give us a background of who you are and what you've been doing, so the viewers get an understanding.
Starting from when I first started up to now.
Yeah.
All right. So I started playing around, I want to say maybe, 5 or 6 years old, pretty young. My mother always tells a story about the time we were driving in the car and I was in my baby seat and I had a little basketball in my hand and I was looking out the window and I just shot it and it went in. And then the person driving the car was like, "Oh my God, do you want him to stop so we can go back and get the ball?" I was like, and she was looking, she was like, "No, I think he's all right." I was like, "Yeah, I just want to make it, So I was that kid coming up. Obviously my pops played in the league, so going to all the games, different things like that. What was the next significant thing? AAU coming up, my team was we were a really good team coming up, so that's kind of instilled that winning attitude into me from a pretty young age. My team never lost. We used to punch everybody we played, and then we had one summer where I think when we lost, that's when we broke everything up. I left the team. Everyone went to different, junior nights. I think I went to another city. It was just over after we lost. From that point, I transferred and so I left Mount Vernon High School, went to Nearshore High School. This is high school that time. Actually middle school. I left there. So I went to school in Nearshore where I live currently for 7th and 8th. Went to Nearshore High School. Didn't play freshman. Bad grades. Sat on JV. Sat 11th grade year. I sat on Vars. I played basically just 1 year. So varsity, 12th grade. What else happened? No college offers. So I went to a junior college showcase, got a job, not a job, but got a offer from them. My coach wanted to give me half. I went there, worked out. He saw that I can shoot. Then he offered me a full. This was 2011, 2012 season.
Yeah.
Hurt my knee, had the red shirt, left, failed out of school. 2012, 13, I went to another school just to get my grades back up. Came back, played for my same junior college. That was my 3rd year college, but it was my freshman year, on paper.
Yeah.
Only played 9 games, got hurt again, played only 9 games there. Played my last year, played decently well, and then had D1 looks, but didn't have the grades once again. Went D2. Only play half the season there because of grades. If you see the the lesson here is to take care of your schoolwork first, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what else happened? So finished up college, and then a couple years, 2.5 years later, I meet you guys. Well, I was in China coaching basketball for 9 months, and then met you guys, and then fast forward to that was 2019. Played the season with you guys. And then 2021, I'm here.
Very Nice.
Yeah.
And that's been obviously COVID's hit. So
Right.
how has that affected you?
I mean, COVID was just, it's one of those things you can't really, like I know the difference between things I can control and things I can't, you know what I mean? So a global pandemic, it is what it is. I tried to stay as safe as possible. I didn't catch it, just stayed in the house. If I had to leave, I would stay, completely covered up, stay away from people. So, yeah, I mean, can't really do anything about that. I just took the rest for what it was. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just stay home, relax. When gyms opened back up, got back in the gym, and that was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also mentioned when you were talking about basketball that your dad played in the league.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like what teams he played for and how this affected you growing up? Because it would be hard considering he's always on the road.
So when my pops was in the league, I think he got drafted 92 to the Pacers. He's the last person in Iona College history to get drafted. They've had players that played in the league. Scott Machado's from Iona. He played in Australia as well. I don't know if you guys know Scott.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So yeah, Scott played in the league, but my pops is the last one ever drafted. So second round, 41st pick. Drafted by Indiana. He played with Indiana behind Reggie for I think a year and a half. Got traded to Philly. And then from Philly, he got traded to Utah. He was in that trade with Jeff Hornacek, if that rings a bell. He was also, Jeff used to coach the Knicks a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then played in not my pops, but Jeff played with John Stockton, Karl Malone, all those guys on the Jazz.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And then he played overseas until 2002, and then he retired to be kind of around me. By then I won't say grown, but I was older.
Yeah.
8 or 9. Yeah, I was 9 years old. So that was that. As far as positives, negatives, I mean, my pops is not like, like I'm not Bronny Jr. or Cayenne. Like, he wasn't that caliber of player. Didn't really play that long in the league. So that was that. I think a lot of people think that, once you get in the NBA, you have so many resources. That's not really the case. So a negative would be a lot of my coaches I've had always treated me like, you're the son of an NBA player, and they think that like I think I'm too good or that, and I'm like, that's not the case. I'm just here to produce and play as well as I can to get the job done. But a lot of my coaches would always be like, well, your dad will get you something. You're this, and that's not the case. And even if that was the case, I wouldn't take it because I like to I like to earn everything that I work for. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't just take a handout. So that could be considered a negative. A positive is just, I mean, I guess it's a draw. All of my coaches like to put like, oh, we have an NBA player's son here. It's like, oh, like I don't really see what the big deal is, but it is what it is.
Yeah, very nice. Because you've played in America, Australia, and then coached in China. Mm-hmm. What are the comparisons? Like, are there any similarities, or is it totally different? Like,
so in China, no disrespect to anyone from China, but they don't necessarily have the ability, but they have the work ethic and the passion for the game.
Yeah.
I think here in the States, guys may have the ability, but maybe not the work ethic or the passion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you guys just do everything over there. So it's not really a thing of like, there would be no way I would be playing basketball and football or footy or like, I'm not doing that. I just stick to just basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. They have like monsoon season in China where it just rains for like a week, 2 weeks straight. So they're so crazy about hoops that there's a video. I wish I still had it, but there's a video of like the the court that they play at is like flooded, and it's like up to their waist. And guys, this is their first time they get to play, and they're just, you can see them running through, like they're not even playing basketball, they're playing like water polo at this point. But you know, they just couldn't wait to get back on the floor. So that's one thing I really enjoyed about China. I mean, say the three of us go and play. I've been over there twice. The three of us go play a pickup game, or you and Brody, or you guys just playing one-on-one. They'll see, you know, 2 American guys, or an American and 2 Australian guys, and then you look up from your game and it's 300 people around the floor, around the court, just watching you playing. So
so they just all love it over there.
That. Yeah.
All get around it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be pretty
Remember you
sick.
telling me a story about how you went to McDonald's and you must have just getting a bite to eat or something, and you walk out and there's like a whole paparazzi surrounding you or something. Yeah,
like people want to take pictures. Anytime my company had like a new facility, they would always, Jordan, you're very important to YBDL. We want you to. I was like, cut the shit. I know what's going on here. Like in the States, we do the same thing. When we open a new Chinese restaurant, we put sumo wrestlers out front. It's the same thing. I'm basically an attraction. I get what's going on here. You know, 6'7", 6'6", they're gonna come by and want to see what's going on, and they go inside. I get it. So yeah, it was like, you know, being like an animal in the zoo, basically. They'll look on the window and be like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, yeah, I'm just in here eating, like, just relax.
I'll go. So you went to college, obviously. Explain what you studied there, and did it help you? Like, is it helping you now, like what you studied, or?
So my approach to college was different, because I always say basketball was my major, everything else was my minor. So I took what I was already good at in college. So I didn't really get anything from my college experience. I finished with communications, like degree in communications. My last year was what's the focus? Communications with like a journalism focus, but my AA, or my 2-year degree, is from like the video editing. So like front of the camera, behind the camera, stuff like that. So I took that because I was like, okay, this is a breeze. I already know what I'm doing. I've been editing for a while. So I want to take something easy so I can focus on playing basketball, because I'm not going to be, you know, a video editor professionally or anything like that. So that was my approach to college.
Yeah. Do you think that was the right approach, or do you regret not focusing on school as much as basketball?
I mean, if I had to go back, I don't know if I would do it any differently, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, people usually say like college is for people that are trying to figure out what they want to do. You know, I kind of already know what I want to do. So it's like, and plus, you know, I was kind of fooling around in college anyway. Like I never went to class. I would just pop up the day stuff was due and then like kill it. And then my teachers would be like, okay, you're putting me in a tough spot here because you're never here. You failed 2 weeks ago, but you do such good work. What do you want? And I'd be like, B-. They'd be like, no. I'd be like, okay, I'll take the C just so I can play. So that's how I finesse my degree. But don't do that though. Don't do what I did.
Right. So life in general. So you have a podcast with your dad. So how's that going? And like, what's it based around?
So it first started out as like a basketball podcast, but there's so many of those. We weren't really getting the hits we wanted. And plus it was like kind of getting tired.
Yeah.
Like, believe it or not, like Brody will enjoy this when Kanye West said this. He said, people that work at Starbucks don't go home and make themselves a coffee. It's like, fix me anything other than coffee, soda, juice, anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I understand that.
And we try to focus on like evergreen topics, things that regardless of when you listen to it, you know what I mean? So we're not going to talk about the playoffs and then we edit it, put it out, and then the series is already over. You know what I mean? So we just try to keep it to things that people like want to listen to. And at this point, I think people enjoy like the dynamic between me and my pops. So I think, it's working. At some point, I'm gonna have to take him to court though, because I'm not getting 50%. So I hate to have to do it to you, pops, but I want my 50.
There's a warning if you're listening, Sean.
Right. If you're listening to this, let's just make it work. I have to get you on the phone with my lawyer.
How long you been doing it for? So, like, how many episodes you in?
I want to say the first one we did together was when I was over in China. So we're probably in the 30s, 40s now.
Yeah.
But we've just been kept, rebranding. Like it was called One Thing at first. Now it's Two Greens in a Pod. So.
Yeah.
Your dad, I follow him on Strava, and that dude is always running.
What's this?
Strava is like an
like
app
a
where you
running
track,
app?
Yeah, where you track like where you're running.
Okay.
And he's doing like bulk distances. It's crazy. Yeah. So you said in college that you didn't really try. Was this influenced by any love life or any women or?
That was a nice little segue. I like how you did that. I was not prepared. So check it out. So when you sent me the script,
yeah,
I said, okay, I'm gonna get prepared. I'm gonna get all my answers ready. So I'm stuck now. You got me. So go ahead, continue with your question.
So there's no women.
Here's the thing. Do we want to go here? Do we really want to go here on the podcast?
Well, I mean,
I don't think this would be any worse than Hayden mentioning Johnny Sins. This won't be any worse than that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Any chance that kid gets, it will bring up something stupid.
You're right. As far as the love life, I mean, I don't really have time. I think I'm naturally a single guy that maybe I'll try a relationship every once in a while, but I don't really have patience. And I don't have patience for people nagging me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't nag me. Like, don't be like, I was dealing with this one chick. This was around college, actually. She was like, you go to the gym too much. I was like, okay. Like, if you starting off, this is like a month in. If I go to the gym too much now, the first thing I said was, okay, I go to the gym when you're still like sleeping. So what's the problem? Oh, no, you go to the gym too much. I said, okay, so what is this really about? Like, are you just trying to be controlling? I'm trying to get straight to the bottom of it. We're not going to beat around the bush here. This is what you said. Let's go with it now. So I said, okay, from this point on, I think the best thing for us to do is not continue this. She goes, why? What's the problem? I said, okay, because you tried me, you tested me, and then you failed now. And now you know that I'm going to choose whatever I want to do over you. And then now you feel a way about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the best thing for us to do is not speak. So I'm that guy. I'm not trying to be an asshole, disrespectful to anyone, but I don't really have time for the shenanigans.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I reckon we go on to our songs for the week.
Okay.
So I reckon, bro, you start us off. See if we.
Well, mine is a classic that I've just found recently, and it's by Rudimental. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I don't think
Jordan
so. No.
especially.
No, I don't.
It is called Free, and it has Emily Sandé or something and Nas featuring in it. That's my song for the week.
Sort of vibe is it?
Upbeat, just locked in type of song that you listen to before a game. I don't know, just gets you pumped up.
Yeah. Jordan?
Nah, please, you go.
All right. Well, I got a sort of used to be a banger, still is in my eyes. Cheerleader by Omi. Do you remember that one?
Good song. Good song. Yes.
Yeah, I do like it. Very upbeat. All right, Jordan, you're up.
All right, so I got a couple. I came bearing gifts.
Yeah, oh, he came prepared.
So I got one for Brody that I think you might like. Is
All
it
right.
one or two? All right, I got two.
All right.
It's called Wifey Rhythm by AJ Tracy. You know AJ Tracy?
I do know AJ Tracy, yeah.
Okay. And the other one is called Make You, in parentheses, Snake Proof, Sleepy Hollow. Familiar?
I know who Sleepy Hollows is, but I have not heard that song. But
Okay.
both two artists that I like.
All right. For Charlie, I got one for you.
All right.
It's called Baby's Gone, Free the Birds.
Interesting. What sort of flow is it?
What kind of flow is it? It was, so fun fact, I used to skateboard.
Yeah.
It was in the Nike, the most recent Nike like skateboarding Nike team. It's in the credits of that song. So it's kind of like that's the kind of vibe it's on. But I think you'll like it. And then my song, I'm going with High by Freddie Gibbs. It's from 2014, older song. But I'm going with Corso, Tyler, the Creator. His most recent album came out last week.
I haven't really been listening to it, but I've seen there's some good features on it. Yeah. But I'll probably get into that soon.
Interesting.
We'll put that on the story. And
we'll have to and see if what about last week, bro? Do you reckon did you get any comments about
I didn't get any comments, but I think it was a little bit better than the first 2 weeks because they were shocking. Did you get a chance to listen to Charlie's first songs, Jordan?
Did you guys not like his music?
We didn't.
No,
who has the better music taste here?
Well, it fully depends on where we're going. You know what I mean,
Jordan? Okay. I'm the more diverse person. I can listen to anything.
I don't know about that. I'm probably more diverse, but then he knows his music better. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like he knows it better, but yeah, it's a debate. We could go on for ages if you wanted to.
I know I'm better. Queries, theories, and problems.
Yes, I'm ready.
We have got two voice memos sent in from some of the fans, and
then we've just got one typed in as well. So we'll start off.
Can you play them through the speaker because my phone speaker's gone?
I can do that. We'll start off with
Alex's. Jordan, someone has sent in. His name's Alex McCarthy. He's asked, is the earth flat or round? What are your thoughts on this?
Aren't you guys live in Australia, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And you've been to the USA, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So where is Australia located? Is it, if it's flat, wouldn't you guys be under the bottom?
No, I mean, you could be more south. You just be south, like you don't have to be like all the way around, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so does it take longer to get to New York or California from Australia?
New York.
New York.
Longer, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because California is right there. That means the world is round.
So you're a believer in the world's round?
You guys are flat earthers, yo?
No, I'm not. But I'm just trying to get something out of you.
I got to get off this podcast ASAP.
I was just trying to get something out of you.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we're set on its round. We're not Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, no Kyrie Irvings in this podcast.
No comment.
All right, we'll go on to Lloyd's. He's sent in a a voice memo.
Mindfuck. If two people are playing chess, one is a mind reader and the other can see into the future, who would win?
So we've got two people playing chess. We've got one who can read the other person's mind.
Right.
And then we've got one who can see into the future. So basically they can both see what each other moves are about to
cancel out each other.
Yeah, they do, don't they? That's what I thought. So I'm really stuck on this. I actually don't know who would win. I feel like the mind reader would, because if he's a mind reader, he can read their mind constantly. You know what I mean?
But the other person's going to predict the future and know what he's about to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this would be the longest game of chess ever.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Yeah, I feel that as well.
Yeah,
I don't know who would win, to be honest. I'm going with the mind reader, to be honest.
I have to answer. I'll go mind reader as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to stir the pot and say person who predicts the future.
Why?
Because it depends on nice dog, Charlie.
Yeah, I
know. Because it depends on like what the person's thinking. Like you could be thinking something completely different. If you know he's a mind reader, you could be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to go over there, and then just hit him with a no look pass.
So do you reckon the future person could see right to who's going to win?
Yeah.
And the mind reader can only see the next move.
Well, he can only read your mind. And if you know he's a mind reader already, you're obviously not going to try and plan out what you're going to do. You just got to wing it.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, well, I like it. So we've got another one sent in from Hayden, our coach. So here it is. And it's sort of two in one, but see what you think.
Boys, long-time listener, first-time caller. I have a theory for discussion followed by a query. Is time real, or is time a social construct? Like, have humans just developed systems of meaning that create a concept of time, like Monday to Friday? The trees have a concept of time. Please unpack and discuss. My query, is there any chance we can get the same energy on the basketball court that we bring to the pod? Cheers, boys.
All right, so there we go. Is there time? Or are we just tripping?
I definitely think
it's go ahead.
Like, do you reckon trees think, oh, it's 9 o'clock? You know what I mean?
Well, trees don't think, but
yeah, but that was his question.
I think that time has been developed over time to help us like schedule a day sort of thing. Not schedule a day, but like have an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What do you think, Jordan?
Is time a real thing? I mean, it has to be made up, because who had the first ever clock? Like, who told the guy that, it's 9 o'clock? It was that time. You know what I mean?
I searched up, when was time created? 1500 BC, around then, in Egypt. Egyptians measured was not the same as the time today's clock measures for the Egyptians, and indeed for the further three, the basic unit of time was the period of daylight. So did they have daylight was one time and then moonlight was another time?
I guess.
Yeah, right.
That's probably how it would have been like fixed, like how it would have been made from when the sun rises to when the sun comes down, so that you know how much time in between you have before you have to go to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
People aren't going to sleep in the morning and do stuff at night. You'd rather do it in the day.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know.
Well, on the other one, he wants more height on the bench, on the court.
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm the most hyped
We're
person on
so
that
high.
freaking team.
But anyway.
But I don't reckon trees have the same concept of time that we do.
Yeah, they probably, yeah. Do you reckon animals do?
I have no
Most
idea.
likely, they're living. Trees are living, but they don't actually move.
True. They don't have a brain like an animal does.
Yeah, facts.
Interesting. We'll see what the viewers think of that one.
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I got some more questions for Jordan.
Talk to me.
So you mentioned, well, whenever you speak, I always notice that you have a very optimistic attitude and positive outlook towards life. Can you explain how you got this and like just talk about it?
Sure. So I believe in fate. I believe that everything is, already written out, set in stone, so to speak. But I also believe that there are certain parts of your life that you control. You know what I mean? Like your attitude towards things, different things like that. So, trying to remember but there's a thing in the Bible, I think it's in the Bible, but it's called the Serenity Prayer. And it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So that's kind of how I live my life. Like things that aren't for me, I don't want them. So I don't really believe in like missed opportunities or things like that. And to factor in some accountability, obviously, of course. I know the difference between a mistake and a choice. So in my past, when I wasn't as aware of the way I should be going about things living, could have made some mistakes. But if, you choose the wrong thing over and over again, then you're making a conscious choice. So that's kind of how I live my life. You know what I mean? Just to learn from the mistakes and constantly choose, the best thing to do, basically.
Yeah. Have you incorporated or like gained any of this life advice from like basketball, like coaches or your dad? Or is it all like self-talk?
Yeah. It's all what was the last part? I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. I think just, as you get older, you kind of learn what works and what doesn't. You know what I mean? So I've definitely learned some things from, basketball. Like, for example, if you don't produce, you don't play. You know what I mean? But then I've also been in situations where, I don't like to use politics as an excuse, but I've had coaches that me and the coach didn't necessarily get along. And that may be the reason why I didn't play. So I'm aware of, like I said, the things that I have control over versus the things I don't. That's another basketball lesson, but if I go out and give 110%, like I could prepare myself all I want to try to go out and do my best. But if I go on the court and stink it up, it's just like, well, I tried my best, it is what it is. I can live with the results because, I played as hard as I could and it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? So I have the same approach in life.
You mentioned a quote in there, 110%. I've got a quote for you, all right? And you tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
So it's, whatever you do, always give it 100%. Unless you're donating blood, because that probably won't end up well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's
My
Don't-
friends,
don't
my
say it's
friends do
good.
not like that.
Don't say it's good. Please don't say it's good. It was said at footy
I thought that
training.
was a good one.
It was said at footy training, and no one liked it.
You don't give 100% when you're donating blood, otherwise you're gonna die. So
no.
okay.
Please, we'll move on from that. I think.
Oh, I like that. Jordan obviously likes it if he's laughing or he's laughing at me.
Yeah, that was funny. That was good.
Yeah.
You don't have your license. Is there a reason?
No, I don't.
Is there a reason behind this, or is it just can't be bothered, or?
I mean, in New York, you don't really need everything's walking distance. You get a train everywhere. You guys have been in New York, right? The trains go
I've been there.
uptown and across town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Definitely coming to New
get
York.
to a train station.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to a train station, public transportation, taxis, Ubers, all this stuff.
Yeah.
You really need to know how to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Save a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you did the same thing in Australia and China. Was that harder to do?
As far as not driving, no transportation.
Mm.
In China, it was a little bit easier because they have here in New York, we have city bikes where it's kind of like, you click the app, like you take it out and then it unlocks and then you can drive the bike as long as so they have those in China. And then the first major purchase I made in Australia was a bike. Yeah. So, I was like, I'm not going to bother Bev to just drive me everywhere. So if I want to go to Subway in the middle of the night, I can just get on the bike and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have this nickname, right? Did you give it to yourself? King Rise. Did you give this to yourself? And if not, what does it mean?
Okay, so the way that whole thing started. So my assistant coaches used to watch my pops coming up. They called him Rise just because, my pops is an athlete, jump out the gym. And he went to Iona College, which is right here in New Rochelle. So my assistant coaches in college used to go watch my pops play. So when I came up and I was playing varsity, they used to call me Little Rise. That's kind of how the whole thing started. And then just the whole King part was just about kind of, I won't say how I carry myself, because it kind of sounds a little arrogant, but just
I know what you mean.
Just carrying yourself as kind of like a king. Like, I can't really be bothered with, not peasants, but you know what I mean? Like, being respectful to all people and of all people, but being mostly a leader, you know what I mean? And not being bothered with stuff that, could kind of throw you off your game. So that's kind of how the whole thing started.
You use another hashtag that I have up in my room, if you can see it right there.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Believe. Where did you get this from? Okay,
so high school me was, my first hashtag was Rise Up. I still use it from time to time. That was kind of like that part of my career. It's kind of like Froby, like Kobe with the 8 versus Black Mamba, right? Yep. So Rise Up was like high school me. Mm-hmm. Believe, that part was kind of, finishing up, like I told you about everything I had that, missing games in junior college, not playing full seasons, different things like that. And then when I finished school, I had that gap where I wasn't playing basketball at all, going over to China, different things like that. So the Believe kind of came about just, just to have faith in and like trust the process, so to speak. You know what I mean? That's kind of where believe came from. I'm kind of transitioning into like a new one now. Yep. So it's like basically two different parts of the journey, basically.
I like that. I've tried to put that on my life. Believe. Always believe.
Yeah, you have to, man.
Well, I think we've done it. Thanks for coming on, Jordan. It was a pleasure to have you on.
It was pretty cool. You know, this laggy shit kind of messed it up for me, but it is what it is.
We got at least 20 minutes of
everything happens for a reason, Jordan.
These are facts. These are big facts, my boy.
All right. Well,
that's the end of the podcast. Jordan, you stay safe. I'll continue to message you. And this is the end of episode 5. Thank you.
Over and out.
Appreciate it.
Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Also, follow the boys on Instagram at the Irreplaceables Podcast. Thank you.